We'll link up with you, Aidan Rodley, in the Hamilton studio. Thanks for your time this morning. Of course, big news now with the barrier draws having been conducted. What is your take on the barrier draws? And also I understand you've caught up with a lot of connections during the week to see how these horses come into Saturday.
Yeah, I have, Nicole, morning to you. And yeah, we got up to Matamata on, well, it was yesterday morning. Geez, it seems like an eternity ago. And caught up with Jamie, but also a whole lot of other trainers around Matamata just to talk around this race, the first Group 1 of the season. Geez, it's been a long time coming because don't forget that we missed our last two Group 1s of last season as well. Avantage draws similarly well to how she did in the Foxbridge Plate when she was just able to settle off those first four who set up a really good speed, and it looks much the same here. The main speed in the race is likely to come from the Mitigator in 10 and Deerfield in 13, and then you'll see others go forward. We saw Tabby Mac go forward last time, and it was exactly the right move. That's out in 11. Kiwi Idol was trapped 4 wide from a wide gate last time. No luck again with a wide barrier draw there. And then you're looking around those who just might get a nice suck run. Germanicus has got a really difficult draw there in 16, so that'll probably dictate tactics as well. Supera draws kindly in 2, although she's a horse who'll probably settle midfield or a touch worse. And as we get over to a couple of these fillies on the second page, you'll see that Loire has a really tough draw out there in 15. Vancouver's a go-back horse anyhow. Bavella was trapped 3 wide in her Tarapa run last time, and Jennifer Eccles, Nicole, draws kindly in barrier 1, so I think she can take advantage of this. We have a look at the Foxbridge Plate, and you see there Kiwi Ida drawn out wide, was just travelling wide, and she does peak on her run. The monetisations come out of this. He's an eye catch from back and running. At this point though, Tavi Mac goes clear and Avantage is able to run him down. Predefer runs into 3rd, the monetisation into 4th. Neither of those two will be there, nor Popstar Princess, who runs 5th there. Kiwi Ida does progress and does look an improver, and one who was really attacking the line towards the inside was Vancouver Nicole, who did run 2nd in the New Zealand Oaks last year. She's just a 1-win mare, so not really well off at weight for age, but she was terrific through the line in the Foxbridge Plate last time.
Yeah, she certainly was. And speaking of the Oaks, of course, Jennifer Eccles fresh up here in this event. And I understand you did go to Cambridge last week and you caught up with Sean just to get his thoughts on how she's progressing.
Yeah, we've seen a fair few of these horses actually work in the last week or so, and yeah, she looks in great order. I know Sean's really confident with the way that she's come up. She's preparing. She's a really relaxed horse. We saw her on the walker and coming off there and followed her all the way down to the track and back again and getting her washed and put out into paddock again. So we spent a decent part of the morning with her, but you can see the track work, and Sean said that last preparation as a 3-year-old she was really keen to get on with the job, and although we are just slowing this vision down, she's really relaxed, and look how fluent she is in her work. She's had a couple of trials, so she's one of those horses who comes into this race fresh, and there's a fair number of them who do. But drawn barrier 1, if she can get the suck run, and Jason Waddell, he's a master tactician, and if they do go hard early, he might just be able to take up a nice position and then be getting through the gaps when they emerge in the straight.
Yeah, of course, Jennifer Eccles looking to give her late sire Rip Van Winkle another Group 1 victory. Of course, the sire just lost far too soon. But Bavella, well, gee, she was impressive Foxbridge Plate Day. Aidan, going to take a look at that run, and how does she come into this?
Well, it's interesting. She's only she was a 2-win horse going into this race fresh up, and from a wide gate she had to work 3 wide throughout. She goes up at the 250 here and goes in front of Romantic Lady, who kicks on nicely for 2nd, but it was a big effort. She's run the 2nd quickest last 600 of the race behind the horse who's really storming home along the inside. That's New York Jazz, but the manner of that win says he's a little bit in hand. It was only a couple of lengths slower than what they ran the Foxbridge Plate in, and she's had to do it from a wide gate and working throughout. So she's something of a new kid on the block, but she's a 4-year-old mare who has performed coming through the age group ranks in really good style, and yeah, she just adds another dimension to this race. She's a contender for sure.
Yeah, a little bit of spice to the race as well with those younger ones coming through, bringing sort of different form lines as well. I understand you did catch up with Denise Guy, who does train Germanicus. I guess that barrier draw not ideal, but I understand she's pretty happy with this horse.
Yeah. Really happy, Nicole. And by all accounts, Chad Ormsby's there riding the horse work. He's been on the trial and he's pretty confident with what we're going to see of Germanicus as well. So you can see the horse there on speed in this trial, just up outside the leader and kicks away for a good win. Now, that barrier draw means that they probably are going to have to go back. But here's a horse who really was away from the classic sort of lead-ups last year and last preparation, but then came through and ran a really good fifth and weight for Age Company at Otaki. He's come back stronger. He looks to be a contender, and the boys are putting together, and editors are putting together an article or a segment that we've put together around Germanicus as well. We've spoken to Peter Mackay, so there's a lot to look forward to. The mitigator, we can have a look and see how he's progressing through Peter's eyes as well, and get the update on Superior with Ken and Bev Kelso as well. So it's a little bit to digest. We'll get through, do speed maps, do form, and get more of a guide. But over the coming days on trackside, Nicole, we've seen there and heard from Jamie Richards, but we will hear from more of those key contenders in the days leading up to the first Group 1 of the new season.
Yeah, it's exciting times. And just speaking of some of the other races that are on offer, of course, we've got the jumps a little bit earlier, which will be something different on a Group 1 Tarzino day. But we'll take a look at the barrier draw here for the listed Al Rocker Sir Colin Meads Trophy. And Aidan, talk us through this and what barriers have come up for these runners.
Well, Chillax was a winner on debut. This is a step up for him. Suffused is a horse who really impressed at Taupo last time. Well, that was actually 2 starts back. Just not quite as good last time out at Te Rapa in the Northland Breeders' Stakes. The Irishman was really good on a wet track, probably wetter than what he'd like. He draws out a little bit here. It's just hard to know, especially with some of these 3-year-olds, because we really don't know their pattern. Tony B was good on debut. Then you get down to a couple of fillies down the bottom who look promising, Autobahn and Alchemia. I haven't had a chance to just double check and see whether they have paid up for the Gold Trail Stakes as well, because there were 2 options. The Gold Trail Stakes at Group 3 is probably the stronger of the 2, but you see that some of those connections of the fillies as well will want to be racing against their own sex to get a decent line of whether they go towards a Soliloquy Stakes and into a Guineas that way against their own age group, or whether they do take on what does look to be an easier option in the old rocker. Here is the Gold Trail Stakes. Now this is a good race. Babylon Berlin was really impressive on debut. Miss Aotearoa, we heard from Jamie Richards talking favourably about her track work alongside Avantage yesterday. Tokarangi is another horse we saw work terrifically at Matamata yesterday as well. And then you've got the quality up the top, like Tironi, Delatier, Benita Aurelia, Wicket Maiden even, who showed plenty of promise last preparation, and Miss Dixie, who was good at Wanganui last time out. And again, we see Alchemia, who's double nommed, who was really good on debut as well. So it's a Gold Trail Stakes that's got a lot of depth as well. And those 3-year-old features leading us into that Group 1, fantastic. And like you say, Nicole, we've got a couple of really good jumps races to kick off.
Yeah, it's a wonderful day all round, isn't it? Something really different, of course, 2020, different times all round, but it's wonderful to get back Group 1 racing in the weekend, day 1 of the Spring Carnival. Thank you very much, Aidan. Really appreciate your thoughts and looking forward to catching up with more of those contenders during the week here on Trackside.
Absolutely, and we'll have Bevan Sweeney on the ground, which we're really looking forward to on Saturday. Of course, Tony Lee calling the action, and Brendan Popple and I will be in the studio out of Auckland to take us through the day as well, Nicole.